CORC, Creators of Reality Collective.
Hold up, let me set you up here. How to get my tripod and shit, you know? Okay, hold up. Turn up the volume of it.
Boom.
But the Lil Wayne rap is actually pretty decent. If you listen to it, here, wait. Just listen to the words. They're actually pretty deep. Just wait. It's about to come on now here. Why is it not turning up? There we go. All right, here we go. So listen to the words.
Can you imagine what's about to happen? This we did the dragon, I link with the dragons, and we gon' get ratchet. No need for imagining, this is what's happening. Second thing, second, I reckon immaculate, sign about accurate. I know the strength, it don't come without strategy. I know the switch, it don't come without cavities. I know the passages come with some traffic. I start from the basement, end up in the attic. And third thing, third, whoever comes out, they simply can't count. Let's get mathematic, I'm up in the school. Is you a believer? I get a unicorn out of a zebra. I wear my uniform like a tuxedo. This dragon, the oldest breath, don't need a breather. My human cedar, just son of a leader. I know the blooming don't come without rain.
Copyright strike.
I know the beauty don't come without honey. That's thing left. I know that torture don't come without wine. I know that losing don't come without game.
That losing don't come without a game. Oh. Yeah, all right. I had to do it, man. You know, that's my theme song from like hell, man. I always listen to that shit, man. Woo! Get all like pumped up.
So for anyone tuning in, Josie, let's give them a recap. I'm going to record this. Might as well throw it up on CORC. Why not, man? Might as well. But do you want to do it?
What? Do I mean upload it on YouTube or what? Or do I live?
Yeah. We can record it. We can record it and upload it on CORC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can start it off with that. We'll probably get a copyright claim, but who the fuck cares? That's stupid. Copyright claim, who cares? It's not a big deal. So it's not a strike. No.
Basically, what it is cranking CORC back up, which is Creators of Reality Collective, which is how it started, which is actually what we were just chatting about a minute ago on a different stream. But basically, I said that I found Josie. How? Basically, I typed in, so I'm originally from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and I typed into the search bar one night, being homesick, hey, I gotta find a live stream of Amsterdam so I can go look at it. Lo and behold, law of attraction, I found Josie on the stream doing the meow meow on his bicycle, cycling around the place. And I said to him, hey Josie, you know, can you so he's like, hey, travel your own path, new streamer or new person. And I was like, what the meow meow? And then I said, can you take me to the Chinese boat? Because I want to go, you know, I was feeling hungry that evening. And I was like, oh, I used to go and eat at that Chinese restaurant. So I said, can you take me to the restaurant?
I'm going to pull up the Chinese boat. I found a video with that Chinese boat. I'm going to pull it up. Just keep talking.
Yeah. So actually, I'll allow you to be able to share your screen as well.
But I'm not on my, I'm on my computer. I'm on my laptop.
You're on the phone, yeah. Okay, so, but basically, yeah. So what happened was, so then Josie takes me to the Chinese boat. I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I get to remember where I was, all of that stuff, feel less homesick. And then he says, oh, so, you know, you feel free to donate. So I donate, or maybe it was before that you said donate, and I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I get like taxied to the place, look at the, you know, in virtual, obviously on the screen, I get to see the Chinese boat. And then he's like, hey, where else do you want to go? And I'm like, I wanted to go to the Rijksmuseum. And then I remember that evening I went to the Rijksmuseum virtually with Josie. And so that's how the start of Travel Your Own Path and the JoSiShow got connected. Basically, that's the initial part of it. And then after that, it just kind of formulated that I started watching your streams. You started watching, you know, some of my stuff that I had up at that time, which I'm actually revamping the channel now. But the other side of that is then out of that came CORC, which is Creators of Reality Collective, which is this. And the idea is, oh, I'm blank. The idea is that basically we're going to have entrepreneurs from all over the world doing various clips, videos, speaking about the ups and downs and stuff like that, because it's important, and Josie will get into this in a second, not just to have this mindset of like, oh, you know, everything's easy, everything comes easy. No, it doesn't come easy. Like, it's, you know, it takes time, it takes hard work. There's a lot of stuff. And so the idea is, if you're watching this stream, this is probably not going to be edited into, you know, we'll probably put a backdrop on it or something like that, which I have an editor that can do that. Or Josie will do it. But the thing is, like, that's just one side of it. CORC is like much bigger. The idea is that we create a, you know, a fellowship, a group, a collective consciousness, a collective of entrepreneurs worldwide who want to live off grid, who want to, you know, do stuff differently, who want to think outside the box. And that's how CORC came about. And it was Joram, the real Joram from Germany, who you'll also see on this channel, and Josie and myself who created it initially. And obviously it'll get much bigger than that. And is, in a sense, because there's a lot of people that know about
you haven't even listed the most ironic thing out of, especially the two of us. We've never even met in real life.
Yeah, never. We've never met in real life, and the synchronicities are absolutely off the wall, because Josie, and you can see his on his channel about all of what happened in Amsterdam and stuff. But basically, the only person that I know that's done the most live streams in Amsterdam ever, and I'm talking like a lot of live streams. But not only that, so he had an accident as well. I'll leave him get into his story in a minute. But after the accident and stuff, we were chatting about stuff kind of a year later, maybe 2 years later, and it turns out that even when we look at dates, when you want to call synchronicities and stuff, or the universe transpiring to make us meet together and things like that, like Josie's girlfriend, my girlfriend, the dates, the birthdays, the place where he had his accident, that same street, I happened to be, you know, and you could look at like it as even universes in a sense colliding or overlapping, or if you want to talk in quantum terms, it's insane. Like, I was working in this building in Amsterdam doing restoration building for bricklaying, right? And I was doing that for like 2 years on this street. So it was, if I'm correct, Marnixerstraat in Amsterdam. And basically across the road, like 2 or 3 buildings down, that's where Josie's cycling home from booking one day, gets the wheel stuck in the tram tracks, flips over, has the accident there. So 12 years before, or 10 years before, I'm in that place for 2 years on that street. You know, the accident is on the same street. The dates of our girlfriends' birthdays, the dates of my anniversary versus Josie's birthday, the dates of Josie's anniversary versus other stuff. It's like, it's so.
I don't know how you remember all that. I know they're in sync at one point, but I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he is right. But it's been like, oh man, that's, and you know, as you know, memory sometimes still messes with me. That's the only pitfall that I have. But yeah, well. But
it's crazy. Like, so like, how did you get into doing the live streams? Like, what happened?
Well, it was after the accident, and the reason I've spoken about this recently on Clubhouse too as well. But it came to me, so that's why I want to talk about it now as well. But I kind of, when I feel like an emotion, if it's frustration, if it's depression, if it's whatever, I kind of use my creativity. That honestly, I feel like the injury, and I spoke to a doctor about this too. The injury was so bad that in an accident like that, the brain kind of rewires itself, like all the neurons, and they all get like, it's kind of like a computer when you get a brand new computer, the same concept. So maybe when that happened, something happened with the creativity thing, and it went, but it also triggered anxiety and depression to where, and the anxiety and the PTSD from the army. So I was a bit of a mess at one moment in time, and I didn't realize how much of a mess I was. And to help me get out of depression, I started just showing people. Mainly my accident story was the first thing I did, because everyone doubted how severe it was. Like, it was always, people were doubting me. So I put my brain scan on the video. Like, nobody could share personal information like that. But I was like, you know what? Screw it. I don't care what's going to happen. I know there's going to be haters. I know there's going to be people that come out of that support me. And then the support was amazing. So then I actually took all of those comments and I took screenshots of it and have them come in a video. And I talked about my depression, and that built more. And people are like, you know, you're so genuine, you're not fake. And that's the one thing that I think people like about me, because I'm not like, you know, typical vloggers per se, when they're like, you know, like they're like, oh, buy my merch, hey, look at my hat, buy my hat. You know, it's not like that. I'm as goofy as I am here. as I am in real life. You know, there's no difference between me on camera versus me in real life. And I think that's what makes me special in a sense, because then after that, I started just doing straight up Amsterdam videos, breaking the stereotype, because many people, when they think Amsterdam, they think cannabis and red light districts. That's all what they think about, or, you know, getting drunk and having a good time. But like, there's Flower Bike Man, there's Amsterdam Bike Life, and there's so much more to Amsterdam than just those two things. And to go back to what Alexander was saying about the about that road where I had my accident on, as he said, is the same road, basically a block down where he worked. And then also on that same road, when I did my brain update injury number 3, I had my camera sitting on the ground because I saw a tram coming. I was like, that would be cool, the way to end the video. Tram going, blim, 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 blim. So the tram goes by. As soon as the tram goes by, kids on one wheels go by. And they hit me up 2 weeks later and they were like, hey, we saw us doing tricks on a video. Do you want to come to a ride out? And that's how all of that happened. And then, you know, people kind of like get all like into the thing of like, well, how do you do cycling videos if you had a brain injury? Well, as I said in the previous video on CRRC, I was in the Army. I think I said in that video, but I was in the Army for 6 years in the US Army. So my left leg it's still there, but it's at points, if I walk more than 2 miles, it becomes numb. So I can't really walk long distances. So I just started to get back on a bike. And that's how I managed to cycle with a camera in my hand and have stabilized footage. To this day, I watch my videos and I don't know. Like, I really feel someone above is just, you know, kind of there, kind of guiding me. I'm 100% certain that's what it is, because, man, it's really insane. But that's how I got into bike life. And, you know, the live stream thing happened because my community eventually said, why don't you just go live? Because you're so goofy on bikes. You know, I used to make noises on bikes too. And then I just started doing live streams, cycling through the crowded red light district. Again, people are everywhere. And Alexander knows this as well. In Amsterdam, the red light district, not now during the pandemic, but in general, it's crowded. And when you're cycling, you can't just like cycle. There's always people. So here I am going like this, like making noises, and I have green lights on my bike, and I'm like, meow, meow, meow. Hell, there's a bot coming through doing his accents and stuff. Hell, I don't know what the hell's going on sometimes. And then more and more people started watching me, and people started saying like, you know, JoSiShow and chill. Like, I have viewers from Trinidad, the Natasha, she still writes me poems to this day. I have people in India, like all these people just started watching me. My live stream for the Gay Pride Parade, I think I had like 200 people watching me just live stream. I was like, this is incredible. And that's how live streaming became like a thing. And then, you know, since I've been in the US traveling a lot, I don't really have like a stable plan for live streaming, or else I would have like, you know, live streamed a lot more. But I plan on doing it, bringing it back. But it's just, you know, right now I think edited videos are a little bit more.
Yeah, and we're working on a live stream platform as well for MonsterCon as well, like MonsterCon marketing. And Josie will be a part of that as well. Like, basically, we're all going to be part of one of the things. But the other cool thing is, I think, the fact that, you know, all of this transpired just out of us never having met, and the digital thing is insane. Like, with CORC, the fact that we can actually, you know, everyone says, oh, the pandemic hit and all of this. Yeah, I totally get it. And Zoom became a big thing. That's cool. You know, we've been doing Zoom for years. Like, we've been doing live streams for years. We've been doing this stuff for like, you know, there's so much stuff that we've been already doing. It was like the WhatsApp thing where on Clubhouse, people are saying that, oh, you know, yeah, there's no chat for the WhatsApp. So what can we do? Oh, you know, build in a or just get them to go to your link on Instagram and bring them to a WhatsApp chat. Yeah, I totally get it. That's awesome. That's what we were doing with MonsterCon for the last like 4 years. You know, we've been using WhatsApp. So the thing is, becoming innovative is a big thing, I think, and I think adapting. That's the other thing. Like, adapting, becoming innovative, knowing that you can work off grid at any point in time, which I'm going to get into in a sec with Josie as well. But like, being the fact that you don't have to live that particular life that they tell you, right? Because they're all going to tell you, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. You're boxed in. You have to, you know, you have to be in these little boxes, and like, you know, like Weeds. Do you remember that program? Little boxes on the hilltops, little boxes made of ticky tacky little boxes. Anyway,
oh my god.
Like, the point is like, you know, little boxes. Everyone's in a little box, right? Everyone has to do like this one thing. You have to conform to society. You must conform to this one specific thing. You know, there's no room for expansion of thought outside of that. And that to me is like, I lived that way for years, and it made me sick in my stomach, in my head, in my body, in my soul, in my heart. It crushed my spirit. And CORC is about waking people up to say that, hey, you can get out of that. Someone might maybe telling you and like I said, I'll let Josie get into that in a second as well, but someone can be telling you something. Hey, you have, let's say I have an idea and I go to someone and I say, hey, this is a great idea. And then they say, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. Because it's not their fault. Like, don't get mad at them. It's their perception, their limited perception. They in your reality, they don't have the perception to see what you can see with your vision, right? And in Josie's case, that might have happened through the accident thing. In my case, it happened possibly through, being diagnosed with ADHD when I was younger, which I actually only found out later in life, much later in life, when my mom said that. And I thank her very much for that. And actually, I don't even know if Josie knows this, but we had this conversation a while back where I was saying that basically the doctors were saying, oh, you've got like ADHD or whatever. And she was like, she asked me the question, and I don't remember this very well. And she said, oh, do you want to go on medication? I said, no, screw that. I'm not going on any medication, And the thing was, I didn't, and she didn't put me on it either. So props to her for that, because I didn't have to, what would I say, go on something like that. I'm not saying I'm not against that. I don't know about that. I didn't. But for me, from my perception, I was always kind of hyper. But as I got older, I learned to control that, in a sense, like a superpower. Like Josie has the superpower of, like, editing, doing all this like crazy stuff, and I'll leave him get into that too. But my thing seems to be I zoned in and I was able to figure out. And Kerwin Ray says this as well about, where he didn't read a book until he was like 20 years old. Neither did I, because I thought I was too stupid, because they told me in school, you're too stupid, you look out the window. I was looking outside to imagine and think, what can I do? What can I create? What can I build? And it wasn't until later in life where I started to rekindle that, find it, and be like, oh, actually, I can do this, I can do that, I can do that, which moved me on to online, which moved me to meeting Josie and doing all that stuff. But yeah, so like, what do you relate to all of that, Josie? Like, can you relate to the perception thing, or people putting you in a
I've recently like discovered a lot more, and it's like a lot of more puzzles, pieces just trying to fit together in my head, because I recently did that video on my channel where I posted a video when I was actually deployed in Iraq. I made a party boy video, but that's not even, I got to go back further. That's just recent, something I found when I was like, I want to say like 9 or 10. I had this Lego set. It was called Lego Studios, and it came with a camera, and like you would hook it up to your Windows PC back then, and then you do like stop motion animation, like Legos, like every movement you have to take a picture, and then you put it together. And I'd make like little Lego movies way back when. And then when I was 13, I made my own like version of Jackass, in a sense, like the Jackass that we grew up with, where they're like doing stupid stuff. We did that stuff growing up. And I edited. I recorded the Jackass intro from the movie, from the TV and stuff. And that's actually saved on a zip disk somewhere in Germany. My dad says he hasn't thrown them away. So if I do find that, I will somehow figure out how to put that back onto my channel just to prove to people. But I feel like the universe was always giving me like a nudge to do that. And the accidents really kind of like opened my eyes, because I was at such a low point in my life. I really thought, like, what could I do right now? And I just thought, like, what did I always like doing? And it triggered on me. I was like, let me just do this. And that's this whole, like, I made a video about it too, like this whole acquired savants theory that I have, because
that was it.
Yeah, because I was always creative, but I never like would have think that I would be able to like do what I have done in the past. Just like, even like the flower bike. I remember Flower Bike Man, when I made him the video, like there's one scene where he's cycling with his wife into Vungle Park, and he's holding her hand, and then he kisses her hand, and I have like the music and the cinematic scene. It's like something it makes me cry, and it made him cry when he watched it. And being able to do that is just like really just defines like, holy shit, man. Like it's sometimes it slaps me in the face, like, yeah, this is what you've done. So I'd go back. I'm like, a lot of people don't watch their videos. I watch my old videos all the time. I just sit there. I'm like, man, like I went to Jamaica, and that was another thing what Kaz was saying, people, the naysayers or the people that don't believe in what you see. I was here in Jacksonville about a year.
I remember that.
About a year ago, and I was supposed to like chill with my brother because I haven't seen him in a while, so that's cool. So I was here with my brother, and the original plan was, my parents reside in Germany, so the plan was for me to go back to Germany with my brother for Christmas. But right before my birthday, I get a message from this guy, Uncle Stoner, who says, "Hey, Jay, I want to fly you out to Jamaica to be my videographer." And I literally was like, that's when like literally like a standstill moment. I just froze. I was like, what is going on? And yeah, so then I ended up flying to Jamaica, completely no money at all, making no money. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to make money down there, but I had everything covered, expenses all paid for, and I just documented everything because that is just, and I think that's maybe why I document everything, because I do have problems with memory. So now like I have everything documented. It's insane. Like the journey from me leaving that coffee shop in Amsterdam that I made that video for, to going to Buffalo, New York, and then going to Syracuse to live on a hemp farm. All of that is just on there. And it's so much at points where I'm thinking, I'm like, how on earth did I do this? That's why that's what Kaz was saying about superpower. That's why it sounds really childish to say superpower, but I mean, how else do you describe this? Even my live streams, I would come home from Amsterdam, like like Alexander was saying, and I would come back from a live stream, and I wouldn't just be like, okay, time to go to sleep. No, I would rewatch the live stream, put all the timestamps, put a thumbnail, do the SEO, and then I would go to sleep. And maybe even after that, I would just do another live stream. What?
And that's like, for me, I watched that in real time. Like most people, so a lot of people would have watched Josie's streams and stuff like that. At that time, I was working, I was doing different stuff as well, but I was watching that stuff in real time. Like the work ethic for me, and I always say it, maybe it's the military style thing, you know, having.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but that maybe it was the military style drive, or it was and you can answer this as well, like, or it was the drive that you're like, I don't want to be stuck in this situation, I need to get out. And I had the same thing where I'm like, there's no way that this can like keep continuing. So in other words, like not having, you know, not having any freedom, not being able to do anything because of no money, not being able to do any of those things, and having to acquire skills and like being like, okay, I'm going to learn how to build a funnel back to front, inside out, upside down. I'm just going to do that. And I was like, yeah, but I'm too lazy, until the opportunity came knocking, and the woman's like, hey, can you build a funnel? And I'm like, sure I can. And I had no idea how to do it. And I basically told her, yeah, I can do it. And it drove me to actually have to find a way to learn. So I downloaded ClickFunnels for free. I learned that shit in a week. I basically told her it's going to take like 2 weeks or whatever. I delivered in like 12 days. I built an awesome funnel, and I did it for like $1,400, you know, and so that's cheap for a funnel to have built. Made a whole book funnel. I learned it because I was like, basically I did it out of necessity, right? Necessity is one of the greatest things. And like, I had to do that thing. It's like, okay, I have to do it. And then that was the second time ever I made money online, or maybe the third. I remember the first one was like the first $10 online, or 15. Then there was like the first 100. Then there was the first 1,000. And the point is that stuff out of necessity, like in your case, it was necessity. You like doing those live streams, me watching you do them, going back, the work ethic was insane. Like I remember saying to you, hey, I think you've hit like whatever, the 10,000 hour rule or the 100,000 or whatever it was. It was like,
back then, yeah.
We calculated the hours of how many hours you had done. And it wasn't the 10,000 hour rule. It must have been, yeah, it was something like that. And you were like,
I mean, of live streaming, I don't know if I surpass. I mean, definitely of like YouTube hours, yeah. But of live streaming, I mean, I'm sure I've done probably combined, because I have live streams that are like 6 hours long at sometimes.
Yeah, you definitely hit it. I remember us talking about it, and you were like, I obliterated that. I think you were on like 13,000 hours or something, or more even. But,
the 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12. Yeah. That's
but the 10,000 hour rule, where like the 10,000 hours of like live streaming, and you were constantly doing it, or it was editing or live streaming. It was something like that anyway.
It was something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's been such a long time ago. Like, it's like, I mean, damn, like, but yeah, I mean, that's just like exactly what you said. It was like the necessity, but it was also like, I had a YouTube channel way back when, after I got out of the military in Bulgaria. And actually it has some decent content on there, but it's just, I don't have the footage no more. And I don't want to go back. I do kind of want to go back and re-edit everything, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't know, because it is called Planet Josie. It wasn't called the Josie Show, but it still had Josie in it. And that's the whole thing about my channel too. Josie is actually a combination of my name, Jochen, and my girlfriend's name, Sylvia, because again, in Bulgaria is a very like place for me, like very changing place for me too. I remember my girl took me to this Russian Orthodox church, and I just remember it had like 3 golden domes, and I just really liked it. I was like, this is wow, this is amazing. And there was like this like, she told me like, you have to go downstairs, and then you go down there, and then there's like somebody, I think it was like the priest or the monk, whatever it is, or Christian or in that religion, whatever they call him, but he's buried underneath. And basically she's like, okay, well, what you have to do is you have to write your wish on a piece of paper, and then you fold it up and you stick it in there, and then every Friday they pray for it. Bro, I think I told you this, but I'm telling everyone this. My wish all the time was exactly what is happening right now. Like, it is. So I mean, there is just proof that if you don't believe in law of attraction, if you don't believe in manifestation, I don't know what to say. But I mean, it is a reality. It is like beyond reality. Like, it's
like, if you see it in here, it will appear out there. So like, if you see my background, right, on these stars, it even says in basically Emmett Fox, right? One of Emmett Fox's books, it's called Sermon on the Mount. And it says the earth and everything in it, the rain, the clouds, the sky, they're all plastic to your thought, right? And I didn't believe it. I'm like, that's a load of shit. That's not true. That's not true. Until I saw it working. The first time I saw it working was when I was in a hospital job that I hated. I couldn't go there with my health. And I used to work on agency. So I'd arrive there, and then the night sister, like the person who would check me in and like assign me to a certain ward, every time I would go there, and she'd be sending me to a place like A&E or, you know, like an accident and emergency, right, where I couldn't work because of the air fresheners that were affecting my health. So I would get sent home. So I was arriving at the job, not getting the thing, and them saying, them calling up the agency, being like, hey, this guy is coming in, you know, he can't work here because, you know, basically his health. So that was giving me trouble with the agency side of things, which wasn't allowing me to have bookings, which they were basically thinking of firing me. So anyway, long story short, I started visualizing. Like, I used to wake up in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't be working until 8 that night. But what I would do is I would visualize for an hour in the morning before I went to sleep. And this is where even I think, you know, a lot of people say about the beta or theta waves, where you're in a certain state and you're thinking about that. And I used to envision myself walking down the corridor to that person, signing the exact ward I would want to work in that night, and imagine myself walking into. Now, I knew this from doing the Bob Proctor stuff and watching all of that stuff and law of attraction stuff. It didn't start working for a while, but when it started working, up until the point that I left that place, that was probably about 4 months after that, I would say, if you were thinking of it as a trading thing, like someone who does trades or whatever, they had like, let's say a 95%, you know, win rate. I had roughly, I would say about a 92% win rate from visualizing every single time, like unless I got sent home or something like that, I would always end up in those wards. And that's the first time I realized the power of visualization. And also I read Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, and I was reading all these books like The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, where he says, you know, live in the new house mentally until it takes form around you physically. It wasn't until I started realizing that actually everything is universal. I'm in a universe right now. There are people that are around me that are in different universes, and this is on a quantum level. And I was just chatting to Josie about this a while ago. You may not want to believe this if you're watching it. You may not believe it, but it's very, very real. Like, if you start to practice this stuff, you're like, wow, it's how it works.
It becomes like really just like surreal, as I would say, because I mean, even the whole Uncle Stoner thing, the only reason that happened is because when I met him in Buffalo, I did one of his videos, and I remember it was like, for some reason I thought it was the coolest video. He has on a snorkeling mask, and he has like the snorkeling mask has like a little tube, and he's like in Jamaica, and he's wearing this mask, and he's like, all right guys, my name's Uncle Stoner, and I'm about to go smoke this joint and cannabis underwater. And I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, bro, how does this video only have 30 views? Because I already knew SEO back then. I was like, this is crazy. And I look at the tags, and the tags are like Amsterdam coffee shop and all these like irrelevant tags. It's like, who did this? He's like, yeah, I had someone pay me to do this. And I was like, it's messed up. So I went into his account and I changed everything. And then I remember saying it out loud. I was like, if I ever make it to Jamaica, I want to do something like that. Granted, I didn't put on a snorkeling mask and put on a joint, but where he does that, there's a tower, a lighthouse, and I jumped off that lighthouse not once but twice with the waves crashing at me. So yeah, man, it's just like it becomes like, it's almost like, it's not scary, but it's almost like other people look at you and they're like I've had doubters, even my own parents. They really didn't understand how I got to Jamaica, how I got to go to 10X with Yoram, you know, and like all this stuff. And like, I'm like, no, I didn't like do anything like illegally. Like I provide value to someone, and either they pay me or they say, I'm going to fly you to Jamaica, all expense, and you just film. And I was like, why am I going to say no to this with a guy named Uncle Stoner? What could go wrong, you know? And nothing went wrong. It was amazing. I came back with a nice tan, and then I took a crazy bus ride across the United States. But I mean, still, again, that's something I was saying back then in Jamaica. I recently spoke to a guy in Jamaica. He added me on Facebook, and I was like, remember I told you I'm going to take a bus across the US? And he's like, you didn't do it, did you? I was like, yeah, I did. And I sent him the link, and he was like, oh my God. And I was like, it just happens. It's just like,
but you remember, like, for a lot of that, you actually said, you were like, and this is another part of CORC. When Joe Ram actually came up with the name, he's like, and we were like, what are we going to call it? And he's like, creators, he's like, CORC, Creators of Reality Collective. And we were like, yeah, actually, because it's a collective of people. The point of it is creating your own reality. In Josie's case, like, the whole point of it was, he spoke it into existence. Not only spoke it into existence, he visualized it into existence. Not only visualized it into existence, he took action upon it coming into existence. So without the force or the action, it cannot come into existence. Like, I mean, we left, you left, and I left, and I lost my train of thought. We left, and it was a guy who was in Amsterdam. We won't mention names or anything, but the guy's like, I'm going to stay in my flat. I've got to visualize for a few days, you know? And he's like, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But he was like expecting something to like land in the door or into his flat to him. Now, on saying that, certain manifestation can happen like that. But I mean, without the work, you're not going to get that thing. And I remember talking to you, Josie, like about that stuff where you were like, hey man, I'm actually going to be going to Jamaica. And you kept saying, I am. And then it's like, you were saying, oh, I could probably, it started with, I probably could end up there. Oh, maybe I will. And you were in Syracuse, and you were just after going to like, you know, do that show thing or whatever, the conference thing. And then you went to Syracuse, and then you came back, and you were talking about that. And you said it might be happening. And then you started saying, I am. Next thing I know, you were in Florida, and you were on the plane, and you're in Jamaica, and we're on the phone, and you're like, hey man, you don't get it. I'm outside the airport in like wherever it was, Kingston. You're like, I'm sitting in like 28.
waiting on the bus in a hot ass fucking, oh my God. Yep. I'm like tearing up. You telling me that stuff, like, damn, that's crazy. But yeah, that's exactly how it was. Yeah.
And because you spoke it, but this is the thing, I get excited about that because you spoke it into existence. That's exactly what you spoke. Anybody who's watching this, like, know this, you can create your own reality. Not only you can, you are creating your own reality right now, either good or bad, right? Positive or negative. And there's one more thing I will say there, which is to understand this stuff. Josie never understood this stuff. He never learned it. I didn't for years, right? Until I started learning it. I started telling him about it. He's like, oh, okay, maybe that works. Then he starts doing it and it happens. I'm not saying that I did anything. No, I just gave information. He happened to act upon it.
It's just like in Jamaica. I was in Jamaica when you told me to watch The Secret on Netflix. Yeah. I didn't know what it was about, and I was watching it, and you're like, you're gonna have your mind blown. And I think I watched it twice because I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute, like, what is going on? Like, this is like, and I see all these like all the quotes from all the famous people, how they put it in there. And I was like even the one I have on Facebook now from Walt Disney, it's like, you create you dream. If you can dream it, you can create it. Like, I mean, it's so true. Jameson, go lay down.
Yeah, like, if you can dream it, you can do it. And I know there'll be people watching this, and they'll be like, yeah, that's a load of shit or whatever. Trust me, trust Josie, trust me, right? We were in positions of absolute shit. Like, I'm talking shit.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom. Not just like, I mean, I was fucking hungry. Like, I remember, and I get emotional thinking about that. Walking to, like, I remember not having any money left, right? Walking down the street and having like €1 to my name. Going to a gambling shop. Now, and I wasn't a gambler. I was looking for food because I was hungry. I put the euro on a horse at like 20 to 1. So like you put €1 on, you get 21 back. It won. I remember praying, I said, God, I need money for food. You know, I need money for food. It came in, and I remember eating that day, you know, so that was like a long time ago, but there were moments like that where there was no money, there was no food, and it's not just a joke, it actually literally was that way, you know. Josie was in Amsterdam at times, zero money, nothing, you know, and like fucking doing live streams round the clock, doing that stuff. This is like, we happen to jump on here this evening, it's a story of persistence, because that's what it is, you know. It does get better if you put in the action. Like,
you also can't, the other thing is the whole, like, your mind and your brain is going to just tell you, like, it's not going to work, it's going to doubt you, and like, you're going to, like I said, naysayer. You just got to literally, when you have those thoughts, well, honestly, what I started doing, and I don't know why, like, but like, I started just dancing in the middle of the night. Like, I put on music, and I have those AirPod Pros now, I put them on noise canceling, and I'm just like in the room dancing for like 2 hours. And it goes back to actually the guy that I met when I randomly decided to take a bus across the US, didn't know who I was going to meet on that bus, but there was one guy I met on that bus, and he was, I forgot what exactly he rephrased himself as, but he was kind of like not a messenger from God, but it was almost like he's a spiritual spirit, something like that. I don't know exactly what he said.
Spirit guide, like, or something.
Spiritual guide or something like that. Yeah, and he was telling me all this, like, for some odd reason he sat by me, and we had like lunch when we were in, like, I think we were in Texas. We went to Burger King. We were just talking about like law of attraction and stuff like that. And like, he was just really, you just felt something about him. And he gave me like this shell, and he told me to carry it with me the entire time. And I still have it in the room. So it did break in half recently, and I thought something bad was going to happen, but he's like, no, it's fine. But he, once upon a time when I was in Arizona, he once said, he's like, Josie, I had a dream about you, or Jay, I had a dream about you. In 2 weeks, you're going to be on the news. And I was like, I'm in Sierra Vista, Arizona. What am I going to be on the news for? Like, the German guy that's now in Sierra Vista, from Amsterdam to Sierra Vista. I'm like coming up with all these scenarios, like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I get this email from a Russian TV network, and they're like, hey, we want to interview you about your travels throughout the US. And I was like, what is going on? So I'm with my friend going to like drop off a dog or something in Arizona, like, and he's at the hotel, and like, I go outside the hotel, like near the pool, and I turn on exactly what I'm using now, my phone and my thing, and like, here's the news in Russian. And then all of a sudden this guy shows up, and he's like speaking to me in Russian, but in my ear I hear it translated, and I'm like, bro, what is going on, man? So yeah, it's the universe. Well, once you're on that path, you're gonna see that everyone, like, it's so real. It's just, and you can't let even now with the news, like, I'm in the US now, but I don't watch. For a while it was like Trump, Biden, and then, you know, Biden won, and then, you know, this and that, and people still come up to me and they're like, oh, you're a Trump supporter. I'm like, I don't care, like, and I don't care about freaking what's going to happen in the politics. I don't care. Like, am I making thousands and thousands of dollars right now? No, I'm not. But you know what? I'm making enough money to survive, to get food, and to just go to New York and go on a random trip to New York and do something special there, you know? So things like that, that makes me happy. I don't want to sit here and have, hey, I got an $80,000 watch here. Look at me. Who the fuck cares? I don't need that. I just want to finally get home to my girl, because I've been separated for 517 something days. That's like the only thing that's like negative about all of this. But again, I don't let that get to me, because I know we've been together so long that, like, I'm still wearing the ring we got when we first got, our promise ring. And like I said, Josie, it is Jochen and Sylvia, so it's always going to be that. I'm never gonna, like, do something to hinder that. So
and
I mean, I'm just saying, if I can come out of shit, and Alexander can come out of shit, and like, we can, I mean, he met me through a live stream, and I think in Jamaica is when MonsterCon got started, right?
Well, yeah, in Jamaica, and in Jamaica, that was one thing. I'll get into that as well in a sec. But two of the things you said, just in case I forget them. One of them, value. So you mentioned just providing value, right? Where they flew you out to Jamaica and all of that stuff. So for anyone watching, number one, providing value, and I'll get into MonsterCon in a second, but providing value, and basically number two, learning to be happy, right? You don't have to, and this is not that, like, like where we're saying, we're on the road to making millions, of course, in time and doing all of that stuff with various different projects, right? Which is great. But you can be happy where you're at now, right? Whether you're making thousands or millions or billions, it doesn't really matter. If you're not happy, it's not going to matter shit anyway. So like the one thing I get out of what you just told me there is enjoying the journey and providing value. And the value exchange, and this is a big one with Clubhouse as well recently, which is that you can literally go on, you can give value, you can chat to people, and you don't know what's going to come out of that, right? Law of attraction, you could get different stuff that comes your way. MonsterCon Marketing, that's an agency that I have with Daniel Maxwinian, and Josie is part of it as well. And basically what it is we grow and scale channels. We do a whole bunch of stuff, everything from YouTube SEO to, you know, Google Ads to basically live streaming. We're kind of getting into more and more lately, but we do a whole bunch of stuff, like all of that stuff, virtual assistants, you know, management on all social media platforms, all of that kind of stuff. And we'll get into that more and more. But the thing is, that's when it got created. I remember saying to Joram that I was like, hey, Joram, and this is the time I was on like welfare and the whole thing, like, you know, and I was like, hey, Joram, I got to get like, hey man, what am I going to do? And he's like, you know, you could start a company. And I'm like, I don't have a clue how to start a company. And he's like, well, you know, you could do this, this, and this. I remember speaking to him recently saying that, hey man, you know, it's formed, this is done, that's done, everything's done. And now it's probably going on like a year and a half now or whatever, but that got formed from thinking about something and chatting to Josie while he was in Jamaica, you know, chilling, jumping off, you know, not just chilling because you were working as well when you were there.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it's crazy. Like, you know, it's like just all of it, even just like if I think back at it, if I didn't do live streaming, I would have never met you. We would have never, you know, you would have never met me and what I can do with SEO and, you know, it would have like all of that. It's just like, even the time, if you look at it, the time I left Amsterdam October 2nd or 3rd, 2019, I believe it was. Yeah, 19.
Yeah.
And, you know, 2020, as we know, I mean, what happened in 2020, we all know what happened in 2020, but now Amsterdam is like, it's still locked down, like most of Europe is. So like now all the videos that I have of Amsterdam, all the live streams I have of Amsterdam are like an archive. Like, it's like, if you want to see Amsterdam, hey, jump on the JoSiShow. I mean, that's another that's an Instagram post right there for you. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's just like I kind of left at that time, and then not saying, you know, COVID is a good thing for me, but in a sense it kind of is, because it happened and I'm not there, but I have all the videos before it. So people, if they want to type in like, how was Amsterdam before the pandemic? Boom. There you go. There you see me going meow meow on a bike. You know, it's insane how like everything literally just like, even the tiniest, like what they say sometimes in movies, like, you know, like when you buy like one of those video games too, like, you know, when you step on the stake, this happens. Man, it is so crazy, because if I didn't live stream, I wouldn't have met you. None of this would happen. Like, honestly, I'd probably still be in Amsterdam. You know, it is insane, bro. It is like, wow, like, whoo.
The whole thing, like everything from the video editing to the value part to the Amsterdam stuff to the travel stuff, all imagined, right? And this is, again, for anyone watching CORC, imagining stuff, creating, like the only thing not the only thing, but some of the things that I take away from this, and I hope that you guys take away from it as well, as like, number one, connection, right? Connecting with as many people as you can in the day and moment you're in. Number two, don't try and sell them shit. Just talk to them, be nice to them, try and provide them value, right? Number three, basically learning to visualize, taking time out of your day to visualize. And you might say, yeah, but I've watched that on the internet where there was a post and someone said, yeah, just visualize, just drink water, just be healthy, just go running. No, I'm actually telling you that this stuff, building connections with people, widening your network, building value, creating value for them, looking after yourself, whether that's doing fucking 10 push-ups a day or whatever, drinking water, okay, all of these things, visualization, taking time to do it, and basically just looking after yourself and creating your own reality. Yes, putting in the action. There'll be a lot of excuses you'll have. I had them too. Josie had them too. All of these bullshit excuses, can't do this, can't do that, can't do that, can't. No one ever got anywhere by saying you can't. You can if you put your mind to it. The other part of that is that basically being able to change in a sense, your paradigm or that old programming that's in your head from all of the years, right? A program to, you can only do this, you can only be a fisherman, you can only be a carpenter, you can only do this, you can only
gotta work hard, you gotta work hard. Not saying being an entrepreneur is chilling out. That's another thing. People think we're entrepreneurs, we're just like sitting here being like, yo, dude. That's my life. It's not like that.
It's not. And all of those things, that if you want to take away anything from them, those things, taking away that stuff. And also a big thing that Josie said, which I do as well, is that basically getting that vibration up. So Dan mentioned it recently in the podcast that we had, where he was in his job. We were chatting like night to night, going back and forth. He's in a factory job. He actually hated that job. But he said every single time, he must have said it to me so many times each day, I love my job, I love my job, I love my job. But he didn't mean it, but he took the energy, and Michael Beckwith says this as well, taking that negative charge and turning it positive. So what Dan kept saying was, even though he hated it, and every cell within his body was screaming, and in his mind and in his whole being was screaming, I hate my job, I don't want to be here. He switched it and took that energy, and he left it come out of his mouth saying, I love my job, I love my job, I love my job. What happens is, I know this for people watching this might sound insane, the energy comes out because we are energetic beings, right? We're made up of molecules, energy, right? So when that energy leaves your body and you have the ability to say something, right? Your mouth, there are power in your words, it changes that into a force. When it changes that into a force, what happens with the force? The force goes out and magnetically attracts back to you, right? So it's the same as your thoughts, but also what you say. So in the case of Josie, I'm getting to a point, the point where he said he puts in the earphones and he dances in his room at night. I do that, right? I don't do it at nighttime, but I dance in my kitchen, or I put music on, or I'll go out for a walk, or I'll get something positive, like, because I've suffered from anxiety and depression as well in the past. And just feeling that way, saying that, okay, there is a way out. The way out doesn't have to necessarily be through 15 different pharmaceuticals, right? The way out could be, for you, it may be using psilocybin. For you, it may be using microdosing weed. It could be connecting with God or doing meditation or whatever it is for you, right? Whatever your truth is. I don't know. For me personally speaking, I just connect with God, and I try and visualize and do that stuff, and try and have a prayer life and meditation and those types of things, or go running or do stuff that basically gets you out of that. So when you mentioned that, Josie, that's why I went on a rant there, and I wanted to say that, like, you were changing the charge of negative energy and moving it into positive energy. And
well, that's exactly what to relate to that with what happened and I don't want to like really discuss it in detail, but what happened in Buffalo, basically I was promised something and didn't happen. So that's really what happened. That's all we're gonna keep it by. But while I was there, I met those people. I met Uncle Stoner, who took me to Jamaica, but I also met this guy named Master Bong, and Master Bong is pretty big in the cannabis industry. He's known as the MacGyver of pot, right? So I didn't really talk to him back then. I just kind of like, made sure I'm following him on Instagram, let him know what I do and stuff like that. And that was it. And I remember once it was in Arizona, I just randomly, I was like, after I came back from 10X, actually, that's why I'm really thankful for Yoram, because Yoram, I know you're going to watch this. So on that second day where I didn't want to go to 10X and I was in my bed crying because I didn't have no money and everything like that. You're the one that, got me out of there. But anyways, what was I saying about this? So I randomly came back from 10X and I just decided to shoot Master Bong a voice clip, a simple voice clip DM. Just said, hey, yo, Master Bong, I know we haven't really spoken much, but you need any help with YouTube? I just tried just because cannabis, I was already getting off my antidepressants through cannabis. So I just wanted to see because I met him, just to see what happens. It just happened just like that. And he's like, boom, boom, boom. And like, it's to the point now where I have something coming up that I can't even talk about right now. That's how, like, I feel like it's like all of this. And I told Kaz this, I got the information about 2 days ago. And like, they were like saying like, we can't really talk about this. And it just keeps showing that like the strength and and what I do also is I love to also provide value to just people that are like desperate to learn YouTube or desperate or just need a boost. And I just tell them, hey, boom, 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 boom. And they're like, bro, you just blew my mind. And I was like, that's all what I care about. I don't care. I'm not going to charge for me teaching you basic, like, here you go. This is how you do your YouTube channel. No, everyone needs a little boost, you know. I'm not going to work on your YouTube channel for free, you know, for God's sakes, but I mean, as a little boost, I can do that. And again, you're providing value, so the universe will eventually come back. And how do you explain that? I mean, it's just, and even another thing is in Amsterdam, as Alexander was saying, I used to cycle a lot. So I had a regular Dutch bike with green lights. The first one got stolen, Franken bike 1, Franken bike 2. Well, kind of got locked outside of Amsterdam. And when I flew to the US, I decided to take my keys with me like a very smart person. So my bike was locked outside of Amsterdam, and pretty sure it's either in a museum or I don't know what they did with it. But regardless, I told myself that the third bike I'm going to get, Franken bike 3, is going to be electric. And I'm talking to a company right now, and fingers crossed, because I've had that picture on the back of my computer of a bike. It cycles here and there, and it's just an e-bike. It's not that exact brand, but it doesn't even matter. Like it's just, I hit them up. They sent me the partner application, you know, and I'm not no big time YouTuber, but I sent them everything. Sent them my accident story, my bike life, why I like cycling, all the videos I made. Like cycling is just a part of me. Rep a brand. Who knows? So we'll see. This is being recorded now, so we'll see in the future. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty confident about it.
We can jump back in it, but the other thing is like that. So the power of vision boards, right? And the power of vision boards is what Josie just talked about. Because
look what's on my shirt, by the way.
Oh,
the
that's
power
insane.
Of vision
you
board.
see, that's insane, man. But like that's what I'm saying. Like this is what I'm saying. My mind is blown. Like
but wait. See, can you see the back?
Yeah, JoSiShow, I think, is it, or something?
No. It's a quote.
Okay, I can't see it.
It's like I'd have to like take it out. Hold on, I'll read it to you. Meow meow. It says, blindness to the generation. Do you stay in your lane? Live life the mobbing low way. Be yourself in your creative ways. Stay careless. It's on the back of my shirt, bro.
So like we did not plan this, right? And this is what happens all the time when we get together.
Let me just explain real quick, because I brought the shirt up. Damn, I can't even put my shirt back on. This shirt, there was in Arizona. I remember my friend that I was staying with, his dad found a suitcase on the street. And this is so crazy because like I normally wouldn't do anything like that, but it was just on the street. So he brought it back. I opened the suitcase up. All the stuff is my size, like my exact pants size, my exact shirt size. And this is one of the shirts that was there with visions on it, just as you said it. Like you're right. This wasn't planned. This was literally like me and Taz talking, or me and Alexander talking, and all of a sudden, like, we're just like, let's just record it. And that's how this is. I didn't get dressed up for it.
And that's the thing that like all of these things happen. But the vision board thing, I'll give you an idea, right? There was one time I had zero money and I was getting out of debt and stuff like that. And eventually I had some money. I decided to go on a holiday to Portugal. And I remember maybe 2 years before that, I had been listening to this one song and I had been visualizing on a vision board of this boat. It was like a catamaran or whatever you want to call it, one of those boats. And I imagined myself listening to that exact song on that boat with exactly how it would be. And I forgot about that, whatever. Ended up going on this holiday. One day, there I was on this exact boat, not planned. It hadn't been planned. End up on this boat, and next thing this song starts playing. I'm like, what? And it's like, it wouldn't have been a song that would have been particularly played, right? It would have been something that like, that would never be played on a boat like there at that time. Exactly the same vision. Yeah, and it's like, but this is what I'm saying. CORC, Creators of Reality Collective. This will be a podcast. This is going to be everywhere. It's going to be like what you guys are watching right here, right now. There's going to be obviously the YouTube channel with, entrepreneurs from all over the world. We will be connecting with them this year. We can look back on this video and, whatever happens, we're going to be connecting, whether that's in Mexico, Jamaica, whether that's in Greece, whether that's in, the United States. It's going to be everywhere. Joe Ram is really set on Medellin in Colombia for some reason. So who knows? We don't know. But Dr. Juan Hader in Costa Rica. I also have a friend, Louisa, who wants to go to Costa Rica as well. So there's lots of people who want to go to a lot of places, who want to connect. And the aim with this is to, grow the movement and stuff as well. And we'll take phone calls. We're going to do a lot of that stuff too. But sorry, I interrupted you, Jules.
I don't even know what is I ranting about. That's it's talking about. I don't know.
You're ranting about visions, but I'd say we'll stay on for another few minutes and then we'll kill this one for this one. But we'll upload it and stuff like that.
We can both talk forever. And it's been a while.
It's been a run. So we might finish it up for this one and just jump on the next one then with maybe Joe Ram and some other people with stories similar to ours. But
we can do that.
I'm going to finish out with something, and I'm just going to say, look, if you're watching this, know that you can do it. It is possible. Subscribe to the channel, like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Find us on Instagram as well at CORC, also here on YouTube, also on the Facebook page, obviously. And, you know, basically, if you like it, like it. If you don't. That's okay. Like, we don't mind, but the idea is, like, we just want to wake you up, basically. I don't know, put this out there and take what you want out of it, right? If you think something's helpful, take it. If you don't believe it, okay, at least maybe it might open your mind or put a little crack in it to be like, hey, maybe there's something else possible, right? And the other thing I want to add in there is that seeds that are planted don't necessarily spring up like that. They take time. So, you know, learning this stuff, doing this stuff, executing on this stuff, it takes time. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. Rome was not built in a day. Josie did not get good at video editing just by doing one video edit. I did not get good at doing all the stuff that I do by just like building out ecosystems, learning, you know, selling, doing all that stuff. I didn't get good at that just by doing one sales call, or I didn't get good at that by doing, you know, specific Facebook ads, or, you know, building groups or whatever it is. I didn't just get good by doing one thing. You have to learn.
And another thing is just to add, just to kind of wrap it up, is like there's sometimes when you have like, you think the most craziest thing, like you're going to think like people are not going to like this, or people are not going to watch this, or people are not going to watch me, or that's the thing about a lot of misconceptions, especially about YouTube in general, is like there's so much fake out there. There's so many people that try to do social media and they're like, well, I want to be like Casey Neistat. I want to be like this guy. I want to be like this guy. No, be yourself, bro, or girl, or whoever's watching this. Just be yourself. Don't be like, well, this guy's doing this, so I'm going to do that. No, wrong answer. Slap in the face. You just got to do yourself. Meow, meow. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, do exactly. No, but you're exactly right. Just do like the way you find us right now. If you're watching this, you know, or if you are watching this, obviously. When you're watching this, this is how we are in real life. This is not like, oh, you know, oh, this is an act or a show or something. No, this is like identical.
As soon as I take this hat off, I become an asshole. I see,
Okay, guys, stay tuned. We'll be doing live streams on CORC as well. Peace out. Until the next time, like, subscribe, and share, and all that. Bye, meow, meow.
Don't forget to ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding.